Welcome to the bloody evolution of military science. Humans spent millennia perfecting the art of deleting each other, and the bizarre innovations we created along the way will absolutely shock you. Let us travel back 14,000 years to Jebel Sahaba in Egypt. Archaeologists discovered dozens of prehistoric skeletons here, showing horrific physical trauma from history's earliest and most brutal tribal battle. However, recent studies reveal these victims did not die in one grand clash. Instead, they suffered from a relentless series of brutal, small-scale raids and sudden ambushes over many generations. The evidence is shockingly grim. Skeletons show victims were brutally struck down and then executed at point-blank range, including a young woman buried with 21 stone splinters in her body. She also had a healed, broken forearm, a classic defensive injury from blocking a heavy wooden club. It seems our ancestors were enjoying multiple rounds of violent tribal disputes during their lives. But does this chaotic violence actually count as war? Academics define war as a collective, organized conflict between autonomous groups, involving severe physical trauma alongside deep, lasting, and devastating psychological damage. To be true war, military historians insist on organization. We need soldiers organized under a leader, operating in structured formations and following deliberate tactics, rather than just engaging in random brawls. This brings us to a delightful philosophical debate. Thomas Hobbes claimed primitive human life was nasty, brutish, and short, while Jean-Jacques Rousseau insisted our prehistoric ancestors lived in peaceful harmony. Rousseau's peaceful paradise was thoroughly shattered in 1996. Archaeologist Lawrence Keeley published a groundbreaking book proving that prehistoric warfare was incredibly serious, highly destructive, and surprisingly common throughout the ancient world. Keeley famously described primitive conflict as total war waged with very limited means. Losing just 5 adults could completely collapse a small hunter-gatherer clan of 30 people, threatening their existence. Let's explore the absolute earliest evidence of species violence. In Shanidar Cave, Iraq, a 50,000-year-old Neanderthal skeleton had a lethal chest wound from a sharp throwing spear. Neanderthals lacked the physical build for throwing spears. Therefore, scientists suspect a clever Homo sapiens threw that weapon, hinting at an ancient, violent replacement campaign between these competing human species. Then came the Neolithic Revolution, when humans finally settled down to farm. This brilliant lifestyle choice brought permanent houses, delicious crop surpluses, and of course, far more things to steal. These valuable food stockpiles became prime targets for hungry, non-settled raiders. The struggle for finite land and resources quickly became the most common and devastating trigger for organized conflict across Eurasia. In Talheim, Germany, archaeologists unearthed a gruesome pit from 5000 BC. It contained 34 skeletons of men, women and children brutally executed with sharp stone axes while they were sleeping. Strangely, isotope analysis revealed no local female bodies in the Talheim pit. Historians believe the massacre was sparked by a violent abduction of women, proving prehistoric motives were remarkably primitive. Around 5000 BC, Spanish cave paintings depicted organized combat. We see archers attacking in a double envelopment, marching in columns behind a leader, and executing fallen enemies quite systematically. Military historians argue these paintings record the actual invention of tactics. Early humans took organized group hunting strategies like driving mammoths over steep cliffs and applied them directly to each other. The ultimate game changer was the bow. It dramatically increased range, allowing warriors to lethally delete enemies from 150 meters away without risking any immediate close combat. While Europeans loved bows, Near Eastern warriors preferred the sling. Mastering it required years of intense training, but skilled slingers were absolutely lethal, firing stone projectiles up to 400 meters. This burst of organized Neolithic warfare had a bizarre genetic consequence. Around 7,000 years ago, human genetic diversity plummeted so drastically that there was only one reproducing man per 17 women. Stanford researchers suspect patrilineal clans fought generational wars of extermination. By wiping out entire male bloodlines of competing clans, successful male conquerors monopolized reproduction, permanently reshaping our species' global gene pool. To survive this bloodbath, settled humans built massive fortifications. By 8000 BC, Jericho boasted a massive ditch, stone walls 3 meters thick, and a formidable 10-meter-tall defensive stone tower. In Çatalhöyük, Turkey, citizens had a clever defense. They built houses tightly packed together with no doors or streets. Attackers faced smooth, windowless outer walls, accessible only by ladders from rooftops. By 4500 BC, defensive engineering evolved. Yangalak featured walls with projecting round towers. This brilliant innovation allowed defenders to shoot directly at the exposed flanks of incoming attackers. Meet Ötzi the Iceman, history's most famous murder victim. 5,000 years ago, he was shot in the back with an arrow and suffered a crushed skull during an alpine skirmish. As wars escalated, strategy was formalized. In ancient China, Master Sun Tzu wrote the legendary Art of War, revealing that true mastery lies in outmaneuvering your opponent and subduing them without fighting. Sun Tzu's core principles still dominate modern minds. He taught that all warfare is based on deception, that opportunity multiplies when seized, and that chaotic disruption always hides brilliant strategic breakthroughs. Fast forward to the industrial age. Sir Isaac Newton's laws of motion laid the scientific foundation for heavy machinery, which turned the brutal business of war from muscle power into mechanical power. World War I became known as the Chemists' War. Urgent existential demands forced rapid innovations in chemical weapons like poison gas, alongside protective gear, metallurgy, and early wireless communication systems. In World War II, the German military used the Unbreakable Enigma machine. Alan Turing built a revolutionary decoding machine called Christopher to defeat it, laying the foundation for modern digital computing. Another British secret weapon was radar. The invention of the cavity magnetron allowed Allies to detect incoming enemy aircraft easily, showcasing how intense military rivalry accelerates massive civilian and military technological breakthroughs. Albert Einstein opened a terrifying portal by showing that Newton's laws fail at the atomic scale. He proved that mass can convert to immense energy, setting the stage for nuclear physics. Robert Oppenheimer led the Manhattan Project, mobilizing thousands of scientists. They successfully split uranium and plutonium atoms, unleashing the atomic bomb and ending World War II in a flash of guilt. The twin atomic blasts over Hiroshima and Nagasaki detonated with 20 kilotons of explosive power. The world suddenly realized that a single person could incinerate millions at the push of a button. We quickly multiplied this destructive power by 100. Hydrogen bombs harness nuclear fusion, combining hydrogen atoms just like the sun to unleash terrifying explosions measured in millions of tons of TNT. Intercontinental ballistic missiles escalated the threat. These rockets leave Earth's atmosphere to travel without air resistance, before plunging back down to incinerate a city 1,000 miles away in seconds. This birthed mutual assured destruction, or MAD. The cold logic dictated that if you launch a first strike, your opponent has ample time to launch their own, ensuring complete global annihilation. In the 1980s, early supercomputers modeled the aftermath. A total nuclear exchange would ignite forests, filling the sky with carbon soot that blocks sunlight and plunges Earth into freezing darkness. This nuclear winter modeling birthed modern climate science. Ironically, it also proved that an Everest-sized asteroid took out 70% of Earth's species, including dinosaurs, by plunging the planet into darkness. From global annihilation, let's look at individual survival. Special Forces operators like Green Berets build unbreakable endurance, not by sprinting, but through hours of low, slow movement under heavy loads. Their secret is building an aerobic base in Zone 2. This specialized training teaches the body to efficiently tap into a massive 100,000-calorie fat tank, preserving valuable muscle glycogen reserves. To find Zone 2, use a simple rule. Subtract your age from 180. If you can speak full sentences and breathe through your nose, you are in the zone. Rucking with a heavy pack is a skill, not just a workout. Operators build capacity by starting light, increasing distance first, and gradually adding weight, allowing their joints and tendons to adapt. Today, we are deep in the information revolution. While the industrial age amplified human muscle power, Modern military science focuses entirely on amplifying the human mind through advanced, rapid computing systems. Unmanned sensors monitor the modern battlefield 24/7. They transmit massive amounts of data through the Internet of Things to central repositories for rapid and automated real-time analysis. Advanced big data analytics process this massive information stream. Artificial intelligence then analyzes the patterns to instantly discern enemy intentions, effectively allowing our field commanders to respond to threats in milliseconds. We see this AI revolution fully at play on modern battlefields. The critical race is no longer just between physical weapons, but between who has the faster, more intelligent algorithms. Can technology actually end war? If we translate Mahatma Gandhi's thoughts on peace into an equation, we see that human happiness is attained by bringing our endless desires down to zero. But our ancient brain has 3 layers. To achieve true, lasting world peace, we need advanced neurological programs that can completely erase the aggressive, violent reptilian fight or flight layer. Will the next generation rise to this challenge and ensure global peace? Or are we destined to keep using brilliant scientific innovations to find ever more creative ways to delete each other?
Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, click like and follow.